What's up, everybody? It's Bhutlah Bobby. Alright, guys, today's video is not going to be a review and it's not going to be a challenge video. This is simply a medical update for those of you that wanted to know what was going on. I've been trying to record this for quite some time now and it's been proving very difficult. So I'm just going to run with it at this point. And if you have any other questions that I don't address, feel free to shoot me a comment. Leave me a message or anything like that, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible and let you know. I mean, I'm trying to be as transparent with this as possible. I've had a lot of outreach. So what's going on is, as I've mentioned in a previous video, I was born with spina bifida and hydrocephalus. The spina bifida that I have is called myeliomeningocele, which is the worst form. One in every 200,000 births. What it is my spinal cord was in a pouch or sac on my back, and Vanderbilt University Medical Center went in and fixed everything. I also have something called Harrington rods, which are large metal rods that run mostly the entire length of my spine and hold everything in place. Also, with the spina bifida, I have something called hydrocephalus, which is water and or fluid on the brain. I have something called a VP shunt, which is a tube that drains fluid off my brain, and so there's that. Currently, as you all have noticed, my videos have went from putting out 3 to 4 a week to less than that, and gradually getting less, and me stating the fact that not being able to sit in a chair for a prolonged period of time due to my pain, specifically in my lower back and my right hip. My right hip, the x-rays and results show that I really don't have a right hip socket anymore. Your hip socket looks like this, and it holds your femur head into place. I don't have one. It's basically bone smacking bone at this point. They don't want to do a hip replacement because of my age. I'm only 35, and with all my other medical conditions, it puts me at a higher risk than most other people. Fortunately for me, the aggressive medication that I'm taking is working. I'm a lot more ambulatory now in the last few days. I've actually been able to walk quite a bit without my cane, which is just crazy for me because this last almost a year or so I've really been dependent on it a whole lot more, and so to be able to walk without my cane to any amount is just mind-blowing, and I'm really thankful for that. And now I'm not pain free, but it's a whole lot better than it was. So the results of the myelogram, what a myelogram is most people have an MRI. I can't have one because MRI stands for magnetic resonance imaging, and in my case, with all the hardware in my spine, all that metal and a magnet, you can kind of imagine what would happen if they put me on one of those tubes. It just wouldn't be good. So I have to have something called a myelogram. What a myelogram allows is for the same types of images, but it's taken in a different way. What they do is in my case, they put me on my stomach and they put a needle in my spinal canal and pump me full of contrast dye. They turn you sideways, back and forth, and then basically at one point my ankles were, my feet were above my head, so they could run the contrast dye from the base of my spine up as far as they could. So those images show that at the T4, T5 level of my spine, one of the hooks apparently has come undone and wrapped itself around my spinal cord. They don't know if it was just the imaging or that's actually the case. So Friday, I go see another person and for a second opinion, which is a more advanced person, and hopefully we'll find out more then. And if you guys want to know what happens after that, I will let you know. Another thing is I was diagnosed with something called, let me pull this paperwork up here. I apologize. It's called arachnoiditis, and I have it in the T12, L1, L5, and S1 of my spine. Arachnoiditis is an inflammation of the nerves of the spinal cord. According to the information that I pulled up, It says arachnoiditis is difficult to treat. Pain management aims to relieve pain and improve symptoms that impair function. Treatment may involve pain management, physical therapy, and psychotherapy. Surgical intervention is controversial because it generally provides only short-term relief and may increase formation of scar tissue, making the condition worse. Arachnoiditis causes chronic pain and neurological deficits. The disease does not improve significantly with treatment and does not have a predictable pattern of symptoms, severity, or progression. Some people with arachnoiditis may have milder symptoms which do not get much worse over time. Although the aging process usually does add to the severity of the symptoms, others may quickly progress to severe neurological symptoms that lead to paralysis. The majority of people with arachnoiditis appear to fall somewhere between these extremes. So hopefully the neurological side effects and the paralysis is out of the question for me. Let's hope so. All right. I'm not giving you all this information, as a pity party, as woe is me. It's fine. It's not going to stop me from doing what I want to do. I mean, I'm on the right track now to get better with the situation. These videos, you guys, your massive support's just been mind-blowing. And honestly, I've stated it before that these videos are very cathartic for me. I don't care if it's one person commenting. I don't care if it's a million. It just means the absolute world that anybody, can be interested in this stuff and show me as much support as you guys have. So thank you very much. I'm not going to stop. If anything, with these medical options that are working for me, these current procedures and stuff, I'm just going to hopefully start churning out more and more because I'm on the right track now, and I'm getting with the doctors that I need to be with to fix the situation. All right, so with that being said, let's get into another aspect of this. On the 17th, I was at the one of the neurologist offices, and how to explain this. So I was there, and that's the same place to give me this consult that I'll have Friday for this advanced person. Well, it was a whole weird day because what happened was normally when I get to the doctor's appointment, I'm always like 15-20 minutes early because of the ride service that I use. Well, in this case, the ride service was running late because there was a wreck on the road that I live on. Well, apparently what happened was an automobile hauler either turned over, flipped over, lost cars or something. As far as I'm aware, nobody was injured. I haven't seen anything like that on the news, but that's what happened. It took quite a while to get the mess cleaned up. And as a condition of that, what happened was I ended up being 15-20 minutes late for my appointment. Which, when I went in, there was a woman at the front desk and made small talk. I made the prerequisite joke about, if I was any better, I wouldn't be here, as you would think at a doctor's appointment. So I sat down in the waiting room waiting for my name to be called. And her husband comes in, and it struck me, it just kind of took me aback because the first thing I thought when I saw him was Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark in the Marvel movies, Iron Man. Because, he did kind of look like him, but he also had that same air about him, like completely down to earth, but you could tell that this was a person that was important. So it was pretty cool. And he sat across from us, and some of y'all don't know this. Some of my friends that are on my page do, but the things that I'm really into, one, obviously I'm really into hot and spicy stuff. Absolutely love it. I'm also a big nerd, Comic Cons, comic books, Marvel movies, DC, all that kind of stuff. I'm a big nerd, but I'm also a giant fan of sneakers and timepieces. And I happened to look over and see his wrist, and I said, I like your watch. And he said, oh, thank you. I said, yeah. I said, I'm a big fan of Breitling. And that's what the watch was. And I said, specifically the Bentley Motorsports Edition. And he said, well, that's what this is. And he held his arm out. So I walked over there and looked at it. And for some odd reason, I just decided to start talking about, I guess it's really not some odd reason. One of the side effects of me having hydrocephalus is something called cocktail syndrome. What that means is basically I'm overly social. I can't turn it off. It's even annoying to me, so I can't imagine how annoying it is to the people in my life and the people that I meet. I mean, I don't meet strangers. I talk to anybody. It's just the way my brain's programmed. So, I start telling him about my channel and stuff, and I give him my cards, which you guys have seen that has the logo that looks a whole bunch like a Garbage Pail Kids card. I also have the shirts available. So I give him one of my cards, and I go to sit back down, and he calls me over to him, and he tells me to put the watch on. I'm freaking out, completely nervous, because if I was to drop the thing, there's no way I could afford it, and there's no way. Breitlings are very expensive, especially the Bentley versions. They just are. They're very beautiful timepieces. If you ask me, they're better than Rolex and all that other stuff. That's not the point. Okay, so I'm rambling. I apologize. So the point is, he has me try it on, and go to take it off. And he puts his hand on his wrist, on my wrist, and he goes, "I want you to keep it." I'm like, "No, sir. There's no way I can." No. I automatically, my first thought is, am I on one of those TV shows like What Would You Do? I mean, there's no way this just happened. And he goes, "No." He goes, as a matter of fact tone as I've ever seen anybody in my entire life or ever heard. He goes, "No." He goes, "God told me he wants you to have it." And I'm not going to go off on some kind of religious thing or anything like that. That's not me. I don't talk about religion or politics or anything. It's that kind of stuff is too divisive. So that's not. But I will say that with all these grim diagnoses that I was looking at, being in a position to where me and my wife have to care for my mother, try to care for her full time, where she has a slew of health problems as well, being COPD, asthma, things like that, on oxygen full time. She's got severe scoliosis, and so you're kind of faced with your own mortality, because you're looking at this grim diagnosis, and you know that you have other people that rely on you, and so you get angry. You start asking questions about yourself, about the universe. And I got to the point where I was like, look, if there's some kind of higher power out there, I was like, you're going to have to hit me in the head with a 2x4 and show me that somebody's got my back somewhere, whatever you want to call it, because I ain't feeling it right now. Well, I don't think it gets any more of a crazy wake-up sign than that. Since then, I have found out who the gentleman was. I'm not going to put his name out there or anything like that, but he's a pretty influential person in Nashville. And if you're watching this, sir, hopefully you are, because I know you have my card. It might have been a small gesture to you, but it wasn't to me, and it has nothing to do with the monetary value of the watch. It's all about the fact that at that point, that's exactly what I needed. I needed that in some way. It was a way of saying, hey, look, don't give up. You got this. Better things are coming. And that was like a solidification of that. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I've been dumbfounded ever since it happened. I'm still dumbfounded. I can't wrap my head around it. So, sir, if you're watching this, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Everybody that's watching this video, my fans, friends, you're not fans. You're family and you're friends as far as I'm concerned. You guys, you mean the world to me. And I'm not going to stop doing these videos, even if it comes to the extent that I'm in a wheelchair. Well, it'll be more comfortable than this wooden chair that I'm in right now. So I won't have an excuse not to be sitting here. Is that right, guys? But this is the watch. He told me he wanted to see me wearing it in more of my videos, and I definitely will be. I can't believe it. I'm still in shock. But alright, guys, sorry for this video being a little over 15 minutes. I've tried to shorten it down as much as possible, but you know, basically when you're overly social and you get in a talking situation, this is what happens. So I'm sorry, guys. All right. With that being said, have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully, I'll be dropping a review video today. If not today, it will be tomorrow sometime. And I've got some crazy stuff coming. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of stuff, and I hope you guys are as excited as I am. All right. Have a good one, guys.